It's time to take a look at your money. The time is 6:24. Over the past few months, the ongoing global trade disputes have created a lot of uncertainty for American consumers. These trade disputes have left many Americans wondering what goods have tariffs imposed on them, as well as how long these disputes might last. But how exactly have these tariffs influenced consumer spending, and more importantly, the prices they're paying at the checkout counter? Financial advisor Mark Ravicheski joining us live on Zoom right now to break this down. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Devin. Happy Monday, and hope you and everybody over at the WQAD office had a very happy Easter.
Absolutely. Now, very important topic here. How can consumers navigate these tariffs and the impact they have on prices?
Tariffs are essentially a tax placed on foreign goods from specific countries that are, imported into the United States. But remember, tariffs are inherently designed to, kind of influence and manipulate consumer spending. Instead of now paying a higher price on a specific item because of a tariff, you can buy that item that's either made in the United States or is imported from some other country that isn't being tariffed. So it will really pay off to take that extra time and comparison shop, whether you're shopping online or in some physical store, by forcing yourself to become, a little bit more price sensitive when shopping. You can certainly help avoid some of the impact of these tariffs.
And when you look at some of the initial economic data that's coming out, to what extent have these tariffs impacted consumer spending?
Yeah, Devin, look, we're only a couple of months into these tariffs, but when you look at this initial data, it's proving to be quite surprising. First, we've understandably we've seen a decline in consumer confidence, and one would typically expect that to result in lower consumer spending. But look, in March, Devin, retail sales jumped by 1.4%. That was the largest monthly increase in retail sales in over 2 years. Over the past 12 months, retail sales have increased by a hefty 4.6%. Then look at what you called core retail sales, which kind of strips out the more volatile categories of automobiles, building materials, and gasoline. Over the past 12 months, core retail sales have also increased by 4.6%. Now, look, retail sales tend to be a very volatile number from one month to the next. But look, the initial data shows that consumers are still spending their money at a fairly robust pace.
Now, one of the biggest concerns of these trade disputes has been of rising consumer prices. What does the latest data show on inflation?
Again, Devin, big caveat. Look, we're only in the first few months of these trade disputes, but look, the data is proving to be quite interesting. In March, consumer prices actually fell by 0.2%. That was the first monthly decline in consumer prices in almost 5 years. The national rate of inflation fell from 2.8 down to 2.4%, matching a 4-year low. When you look at core inflation, which strips out the more volatile and seasonal food and energy prices, core inflation fell from 3.1 down to 2.8%. Also a 4-year low. So, to kind of summarize, despite these trade disputes, consumer spending remained strong while inflation continued to decline. But again, we kind of got to throw out this caveat here. We want to see a bigger pool of data over the upcoming months that will kind of paint a broader picture of these trade disputes. But initially, very interesting data that's coming out.
Yeah, indeed. Very interesting stats
Yeah,
there and much more to come.
certainly. I don't think these are going to be going away anytime soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark, and we'll see you next Monday.
Take care, Devin.